I grew up in the United Kingdom in the 1980s. I was a teenager in the 1980s when, leading up to the end of the Cold War, there was an enormous concern with nuclear weapons and the dangers of nuclear weapons. It was something that was very much in the consciousness, in the pop consciousness. It was in pop culture. It was in movies and TV shows and songs. So the first time I ever heard the name Oppenheimer was in Sting's song, Russians, that refers to nuclear weapons as Oppenheimer's deadly toys. That's the first time I can remember hearing the name Oppenheimer in relation to the bomb. And over the years, I became more interested in his story, particularly when I found out the information that in the build-up to the Trinity test, Oppenheimer and his fellow scientists could not completely eliminate the possibility that in triggering that device, they would destroy the entire world. And yet they went ahead and they pushed that button and took that step. And that is such a dramatic moment. I chose to use it in dialogue in my film Tenet to sort of explain the science fiction concepts that we had by analogy with the Oppenheimer story. And then coming out of that film, after which Rob Pattinson, who's in Tenet, had given me a book of speeches that Oppenheimer gave in the 1950s, talking about the nuclear threat, talking about how best to deal with it. I became more and more interested in Oppenheimer and his story as it relates to world history and the world we will live in. And then I read the book American Prometheus by Kai Bird and Martin Sherwin, which is a wonderful and wonderfully researched, detailed look at the life of J. Robert Oppenheimer. And reading that book made me convinced that it would be practical to make a film of his life.
We're in a race against the Nazis. We have no choice. I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon. This is the most important thing that ever happened in the history of the world.
第二次世界大戦下、世界の運命を握った天才科学者オッペンハイマーの栄光と没落、その生涯。オッペンハイマー。